Right? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So see, let's start with the Lambda part today.
Uh-huh.
Precious, the topic that you must be having much more doubts, right? So see, starting with Lambda, first thing you should understand whenever we deal with such functions, you should know when we talk about services that AWS provide, right? So whenever you go on your Amazon page, Amazon console, AWS console, you can say, okay, there you will find the option of services, right? Under that, you can check there are multiple services that are given, which we can use under our Amazon criteria, right? But
Uh-huh.
the most basic one that we have seen is the compute service. Computing services we have seen, storage services we have seen. So such type of services are given, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can say monitoring services are given. So whenever we go inside this computing services, first computing service that we have used is EC2 service, right? Till now, whatever
Yes.
we are doing on the basis of computing, we have used EC2 service. In this computing only, there is another, you can say, the service which provide computing is our Lambda. Getting it?
Uh-huh.
So you can say what the work EC2 is doing. Okay, same work Lambda will also do. Now the question arises, if we already has EC2, right? Then why do we require Lambda? What is the need of Lambda? So as we are very much familiar with the term called server and serverless. Okay, server means that we have RAM, CPU, processor, okay, and combining them together, we build a server, right? On this
Okay.
any machine, any machine having this RAM, CPU, processor, okay, you can consider it as a server, that it has a server. Either it can be locally or it can be on cloud or it is on internet. Now what are the examples? Examples can compute locally means your local system, your laptop, your PC, which is not connected to internet right now. Means it is a local server. Cloud, you can say AWS cloud is a server. On internet, anything that is running, any web application, website, or anything. On see anything that you want to run. Okay, run means general. In the technical term, we will talk. Run means you want to process something, right? You have to send some input. You have to do some processing on this input, and then you will generate some output based on the processing you done. So this processing is done using a processor, right? In our laptops and computers, we call it as CPU, right?
Okay.
So we need this to run any of the application. So any of the web application that is running, right? That you can say that is running any website, any application, anything that is running on internet or on anything like our operating system. Just take an example of local. See on internet, if any website, say Amazon.com is running, so it must be running on some processor. on some server. Okay, because it needs, see, the user has sent the input. For processing, it needs something. So for processing, we usually use a CPU. So it requires a CPU to process. That's why we need a server so that we can process the inputs and provide us with the output. Okay. Now
Got it.
consider your local system, your operating system. Say you are using Linux operating system. This Linux operating system is a server. Now, if you want to run anything, say you want to run MS Paint, you want to run LibreOffice, you want to run text editor, any of the application you want to run, right? You have to run on this server. Get
Got
it?
it. Uh-huh.
The concept is what is server is clear.
Yes. Yes.
Let
The
me
concept
explain it
of
for
the
you.
server is like a desktop computer.
Okay, let me just make you understand it more. So that, because if the concept of server, what is server is not clear, that will cause a problem for you.
So what I understand is that server is composed of RAM, CPU, and like memory, and then components that it makes the server. The CPU is like is the one in charge that process data.
Actually, I'm trying to get a black screen so that it is very much easy for you to see the different colors. But let it be, I'll do it in the next class. So see, what I'm trying to say with the term server. Okay.
Okay.
Server consists of any system which has the capability to compute. First of all, they want some input, right? On which they will compute something, means they will do calculation or processing, and then you need an output. So this process on which for which you need a server. See, this is a server. Like if you talk about your local computer, you are running any of the process on operating system. If you don't have this operating system in your laptop, you will not be able to run any of the application. You will never be able to get any input, any computation or processing. You can't do any output. You can't show. So first of all, if we talk about when we are setting any of the machine, what first thing we do? We should have an operating system with us, right? Getting it? Without this
Can you?
system, we can't even run simple paint, because paint is a software, right?
Got it.
We are using this software to provide some input. As soon as we provide an input through our keyboard, or you can say our mouse, then this goes to the CPU or the processing unit. There they will process what you have written or what you have drawn, right? After that, they will show the output on the screen. So
Oh, okay. So
this
it's like
process,
every detail. Mhm.
yeah.
So it's like every detail, like every movement. Okay, I open a software, like every movement is processed through the CPU and the output of the
Yeah.
results.
See, just consider this. You have seen something. See, you have seen a flower. So see, this is the input. Okay, you have seen some flower in the garden, right? Now this that you have seen something, this signal will go to your mind. If you already have seen flower and categorized flower in your mind, then this mind will be able to detect, do some processing in your mind. Okay, I have seen something like this. Okay, I know from my previous experience that this is a flower. Then you will get an output from your brain. That okay, the processing is done in the mind that it is a flower. Now I know the object that I am seeing right now is a flower. Right? Generally, human mind works like this.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Or you can say either we have five senses, right? Through these five senses, we take input. And the input is sent to the mind for processing, for detecting what type of information is collected by these five senses. Then according to that, you will get to know the information, what is the output, right? Similarly, the computers work, machine works. We give them the input, the processing will go on like what input they have provided, and then they will show you the output on the screen, right? But for doing this, all this, you need an operating system. An operating system consists of RAM, CPU, storage. Okay, so
Okay.
that has this settings is known as server.
Server.
Clear?
Yes.
Now, what is serverless? Serverless, you can say, where we don't require any computing tools. Like we don't require any RAM, we don't require any CPU, we don't require any storage. So that we can say that is a serverless application. Or you can say if it is talking about application, or you can say Lambda is a serverless service, serverless computing service, to be very much specific. Getting it? And EC2.
Uh-huh.
This EC2 instance we talk about a lot is a server based computing service. You get the information about server and serverless, the basic difference you are clear? Like
Yeah, see, it is clear like why like serverless is where I don't require the RAM, the CPU, the storage is like these characteristics of a server. So the main the difference of a serverless is the opposite of server definition.
this part is clear to you?
Yes.
Now see, when we talk about
But I have I have a question.
yeah.
So the serverless does not compute. It's not computing.
See, whenever we talk about AWS services, in AWS services, you will see first service as EC2, and another option you will check, you will find it as Lambda. Both of these are computing services. Okay, but one service is server-based computing, means require a server, and this Lambda is serverless. Just try to grab this key point in your mind. Then as we will unfold a lecture, you'll get to know how it is different from EC2, why we require Lambda when we already has EC2, what type of things we can do with EC2, and what things we can do with Lambda. So this point is clear, like inside the computing units, we already have two services for computing. One is EC2 and another is Lambda.
Okay. Oh, got it. Okay.
Now, if we talk about some of
so how Lambda,
yeah.
Okay, got it. Because you will explain later.
So some of the overview points I'm giving you about Lambda, try to grasp them. So basically when we talk about Lambda, okay, so you can say Lambda, it is a compute service. This I told you that lets you to run your code without provisioning and managing servers. Now what this term means, that see, whenever you use EC2, first of all, you have to, when we talk about EC2, what you have to do? First of all, you have to create an instance. Inside this instance, you have to tell how much CPU you want, how much RAM you want, how much storage you want, all these things. Then you deploy your application on this EC2 instance or deploy your code on this EC2 instance, right? But in Lambda, what you can do, you can directly deploy your code. Means if you have any files or any code or any website you want to run on internet, you don't have to specify CPU, RAM or any storage things. You just have to go on Lambda, create a Lambda function and just upload your code there. They will automatically manage all those things like CPU, RAM, storage. Obviously, they will. Amazon people Amazon people will do? They will create a server behind their system, but you don't have to create this server. Here, you are creating the server. That's why it is a server-based computing service. And here, no server you have to create or customize. That is why it is serverless computing service. This much is clear about this point?
About the deploy my code, like I can upload it and then AWS is gonna manage.
Upload your code.
And AWS is gonna manage the key.
You have the code in your local system, right?
Are you referring the code? Are you referring to what kind of code is that? Like
code means any programming language you follow. Say you follow C, C++, Python, all these languages.
Oh.
Because all the websites, okay, are built in JSON format or HTML format. So they all have a code. When you write this code, then only you will be able to make a website. So this code I am talking about, the information about the website you want to create or any application you want to create. They required some programming language in which this application should be built, right? So that code I'm talking about, you can directly deploy on Lambda function. Here, first you have to create every CPU, RAM, and everything. Then you have to deploy your code. Get it?
Okay, got it.
See, when we talk about database, we have used the database. I'll give you an example of S3 bucket. Don't worry. Just try to understand. Here we have to process everything in EC2. First of all, we have to create an instance which requires the information of CPU, RAM, storage, and all those things. Means we have to create a server there. But when we talk about Lambda function, we just have to go and directly upload our code, upload our database, or you can say any information that you want to provide. Right? You want to do some computing on which information, right? That you can easily code or information, I'm saying, right? Because you are not from technical background, so code is very much technical term for you. Any information, right? You just come and upload it here. They will take care of everything, like running it, managing it, how much RAM is required, how much CPU is required. Same, one Lambda is not able to handle this, what you say, code or information. So they will do automatically, they will do auto scaling. But when we talk about EC2 instance, right, you must remember, they ask us, do you want auto scaling in your EC2? Then we select this option as right or enable it. Then only they will enable auto scaling, right? But in Lambda, as soon as we require that one Lambda is not able to handle the information, they automatically auto scale. Getting it?
They automatically do that. That could be the replace in the future of EC2 instance.
See, actually what happens, sometimes you want a customized system. So when you need a customized system, when you know that I want this much of CPU, I want this much of RAM, I want to want this much of storage, then you can go for EC2, right? And when you want all these things to be customized, you just want to run your code on the cloud or information on the cloud, you can use Lambda function. Yes, it is an advanced part of EC2 in the terms of computing. Maybe in upcoming future it can, with a more advancement in the Lambda function, okay, they can replace EC2, because in all the ways it is better than EC2. Getting it?
Wow. Okay, got it.
You're getting a clear picture of Lambda now?
Yes.
Yeah. So now what we can say with AWS. You can run your code for virtually any type of application or backend services, all with zero administration. See, when we were dealing with EC2, you must have thought of one thing, okay? Whenever we make an EC2 instance, we there create, we there select either Windows or Linux as a server. And then we create the same in our local machine, and then we do anything we want to do, like what we were doing in the next previous class, MySQL. So to run MySQL, we either require Windows, we either required Linux, right? So we were requiring some, what we are requiring, we are requiring some server, okay, to run any of the application, any of the software in EC2. But now, when we talk about Lambda, here we don't require any of the, you can say, virtual machine. These are what Windows and Linux are. These are the virtual machines. Or you can say virtual operating systems. Right? And you can run any type of application or backend services. With zero administration means you don't need to manage all these Windows, Linux, or what operating system you want, what RAM you want, what storage you want. In this, you just have to go and provide the information, and they will automatically select which server they want, which type of RAM they want, how much bits of size of storage they want, everything they will do. So you don't have to do any of the administration process. Getting?
Okay. That's why it's serverless. Yes.
All making sense to you?
Yeah, everything is making sense. So zero administration.
Zero administration means that earlier what we were designing, complete administration here. We are designing a machine that, okay, in this machine I want this much CPU, I want this as a security group. VPC we were connecting, right? Security group we were selecting. Yes? We are
Yes.
selecting the storage. We are selecting the server machine, either Windows or Linux, right?
Okay.
We were selecting multiple options. So here we are doing the process of administration. These are the process of administration, or you can say management we were doing.
Okay, got it.
And this is required in EC2. In Lambda, we don't require anything. We just have to go and provide with our information or deploy our code, and they will automatically take care of all the things. We don't have to do anything.
So they have their own firewall. I mean, I don't.
Here we were enabling the firewalls and all those things. Here we don't want to do anything. To just go and deploy our code, they will do everything for us.
Okay, so my information is secure, is safe with Lambda.
Yeah, it's safe. Safety purpose, see, it's safe. That's why it's very much getting popular regarding when we talk about applications which we want to design without any applications. Getting it?
It's like the processing. Okay. Because Lambda doesn't have like a security group, they don't have a storage.
Why we use security group VPC? So that we are passing our AWS server information to our local server. Like we were creating Windows local server or Linux, we have understood in the previous class. So we were passing this information of AWS server to this local server. Now there is no server. Then why do we require this VPC security group? Getting it? When we don't have the server, we don't have this server, local server, we don't require.
We don't require a VPC.
Then why do we use a security group to be created? Why security group is created? So that because the information that is in AWS server about MySQL or EC2 instance you have created or any RDS server you have created, having some passwords or username. Now you want to access this server into your local server. Local either in Windows or in Linux. Clear?
Got it.
Here to access this, you require in command line you write no. Okay, the address of the EC2, username, password, enter the password, all those things you write. Why do we require? So that we can access this service in a local server. But now the concept is in Lambda, we don't require the server. So why do we use this VPC security groups? Clear?
Got it. But you know, I mean, you're showing me the difference. But in my mind, it's not that I don't understand. It's like when I have a VPC, where I mean I have a security group, I have a storage, I have a CPU in the server, RAM, you know, everything, and I understand that. But in Lambda, it's serverless. They don't require anything of that. So how
Because
my data is saved with Lambda?
the thing is they require. Without any server, you can't run anything. But in EC2, we are building everything by our own. Right? We are selecting everything in EC2. But now this selection process is done by the Amazon people. They will select a security group for themselves. They will select a storage. They will select which server we want to run. Either we want a firewall or not. We want CPU or not. They will choose them automatically. Means all the administration process, all the management process that is required to run your website, right? Or any application on the cloud. Whatever is required, they will manage all this. So AWS people will manage all this. In EC2, you have to manage. But now AWS people are managing.
Okay.
You are creating the server. Now AWS people are creating the server. So your workload has decreased. Getting it?
Got it.
Sometimes happens like you are not from the background of technical, but you want to run any application or anything on your computer. You don't know how much CPU, how much RAM, how much storage you should provide to your application to run. For such cases, this Lambda comes into help. What they do, they say, okay, whatever you want to deploy on the cloud, you just give me that, and I'll do the management process of CPU, how much CPU, how much RAM, which security group you want, which server you require. I will do it for you. No issue. Getting it?
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I got
Little
it.
bit clear? Okay, now let me explain this very much clear thing to you. Like AWS Lambda. Now what all services AWS will automatically manage. AWS Lambda will automatically manage. We don't have to do anything. What all the services are. Now I'm telling you, just keep in mind. So
What means provisioning?
yeah, I talked to you about provisioning and general two types of options they provide you when we were creating EC2.
Oh, okay, got it.
Right? So then we have to select which one we want. Right?
Okay.
like which type of CPU you want, how much storage you want, all those things comes in provisioning.
Okay, got it.
So there, we were selecting all the time that which one we require. But now, all these things will be managed by AWS Lambda automatically. So provisioning and capacity of compute means what type of computing services they want to provide. Computer fleet, you can say that offers a balance of memory. Okay, you can say memory. Memory require CPU, network, or any other resource. So this much is clear to you that AWS Lambda will select the provisioning capacity of the compute flex, all the computing services that you require to run any of the application. What they offer a balance, like how much memory you want, how much CPU you want, network, which network you would run, and all the other sources that you require to run any of the application or code or information that you are providing or deploying on AWS Lambda. They automatically select according to the balance of the application. Getting it?
Yes.
Clear?
Yep.
Second thing you can say, what AWS Lambda will automatically do is server and operating system maintenance. See what happens if the server gets disconnected or we lost any of the connections while we were building the server. We don't have to check again and again or monitor the server. Is the server working? Is server require auto scaling? Right? They will manage automatically. We don't have to overload. And if the operating system say you are using Windows operating system and you are using Windows 7, now the new version of Windows comes. So Windows 10 comes. So they will automatically upgrade it. You don't have to monitor. So maintenance of server and operating system both can be done automatically by AWS Lambda.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to make maintenance.
We were selecting everything. Which version of Windows we will require, which version of what maintenance window we will require, everything we were doing. Now here they will manage automatically. Third, perfect. What you can do, high availability. And you can say automatic scaling. High availability means storage. See, sometimes what happens, we have selected limited storage or we have not selected multi-availability zones. So when AWS Lambda is handling everything, so they automatically create higher availability for our processes because they don't want that at any cost our website or our applications goes down, right? Or it gets low latency. I told you what is latency? Means the loading time. So there is always will be high availability of all the resources when AWS Lambda is managing everything, right? And
Perfect.
automatic scaling. So as soon as say information you are providing, one lambda is not able to handle that information. So we automatically create another lambda for load balancing. For this process of creating multiple lambdas for sharing of the information is known as auto scaling. I told you two types of scaling: horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So sometimes what happens when we select EC2, right? Some services don't provide horizontal, some don't provide vertical. But when AWS is maintaining everything, so both the scaling is provided automatically to you. If you require horizontal scaling, you can do horizontal. If you want vertical scaling, you can do vertical scaling. So
Got it.
user don't have to get into all these things.
Oh, cool.
Getting it?
Okay. Yep.
See, this AWS Lambda is handled by AWS people. And everything that you are doing, you are the user. Right? You deploying anything, you are working on AWS console, making some changes, creating EC2 instance, providing information to EC2 instance. You are the user doing it from outside world. But when we talk about AWS Lambda, it is handled by AWS people. So all these services I have told you. See this one, first of all, this one, AWS Lambda manages provisioning and capacity, this service, this server and operating system management, high availability and auto scaling. This user don't have to get into all this. This is all managed by AWS people. Getting it? You are the user who is having an AWS account. Hello?
Yep. Yeah, I got it. I'm here. Mhm.
Fourth, you can check what AWS people will manage or AWS Lambda will manage. Monitoring, fleet health. Fleet means the server that is running behind on which the code is running. Code or information that you have provided. Is it working fine or any issue is there? Every process or every service that you have applied to it, is it working fine? Everything will be monitored by AWS Lambda people. You don't need any maintenance window for checking it again and again. Next, applying security groups, or you can say security patches. So here we don't have to think about security. Is our data secure or not secure? We will automatically provide the security group security packages to us. If you want, you can easily check it when while they are creating you, they will tell you which security group they have used. You don't have to keep anything in your mind that which security group. When we were dealing with EC2, then we have to select no, we have to create an VPC group, then we have to connect it to the EC2 instance, right? That all we don't need to do in Lambda.
So and we don't need got it because they all have like the health status. I don't have to worry about that as well.
Now deploying your code. Now user comes and uploads its code. So what AWS people will do, AWS Lambda will do, they are ready just to deploy your code. You have to just go and upload your code and they will take care of this code from there onwards. And you can see monitoring and logging your functions. See, now if any requirement comes, like your lambda function requires any maintenance, or it is having any issue inside the lambda function regarding all the logging informations, like they will create logs, they will see the cloud watch, right? Everything, and monitoring it continuously using the cloud watch. Everything AWS Lambda people will do. You don't have to worry even about the cloud watch in the Lambda function. Getting it?
Yep. Okay.
You can do.
So you say I don't have to use CloudWatch
No,
or
it
Lambda.
will automatically do for you.
Okay, so I will be receiving the any notifications.
Yeah, you will receiving everything. But just you want to create the events. I tell you what are events. These are the things that are automatically done by AWS Lambda. User don't have to do anything inside this. All these things I'm telling you. Then we will talk about how we can enable all these services. Okay. Just try to understand what I'm telling you, and as the lecture unfolds, your queries get solved. Still, you feel anything, you can ask me in between the lecture. Okay.
Okay.
So AWS Lambda runs your code on a high availability compute infrastructure. Means the best compute infrastructure they will provide to you. The best amount of CPU, the best RAM they will provide you, the best storage services they will provide you. So the infrastructure that is required to run your code or your information, they will provide it at high availability. Means the high availability means the best one that suits for your application. Is these things clear?
Yep.
Now the next thing you need to understand, AWS Lambda executes your code only when needed. See what happens when we talk about EC2 instance. Okay, when we talk about EC2 instance, as soon as we have created the EC2 instance, they start charging us on the basis of hourly basis. Getting it?
Okay, got it.
Are familiar with EC2 billing services? That how they is we have not covered that yet, but you have already know that I told you that EC2 charges as soon as you create your EC2 instance. They will start charging you on the basis of hourly basis, right?
Got it.
In Lambda, what benefit you have? Until you deploy your code, right? And you start running that code. As soon you start running the code or you do computing on this code, they will not charge you anything. They will only charge for the computing time you have invested on the code. Means the running time. But in EC2, as soon as you created it, they start charging hourly. This is the biggest difference between the billing services of AWS EC2 and EC2, AWS Lambda. So I'll explain you more about it. So when you execute your code whenever you need it, when needed, and scale automatically for a few requests per day, 2000 per second. See what happens when we talk about Lambda. So whenever you you have already started created a Lambda function. Okay, they will not charge you for creating a Lambda function. Okay, then you have deployed your code, means you have uploaded the information. They will also not charge. But as you require to run this code, and scaling automation is as soon as you run the computing service, you can say. And while computing, if you need scaling automation, only at that time they will start charging you for few requests per day. 2000 requests means you can make any request, like you can start from any of the requests per day, and till 1000 requests you can create.
Wow.
Getting it?
So they charge you per day, but per request. So they charge me.
They will what EC2 is charging. They will charge you on the hourly basis. It is based on one request, on the basis of request you have made.
Okay, got it.
Not make any request, they will not charge anything. But here, either you make request or don't make any request, they will still charge you because you have created an EC2 instance.
Okay, I got it now.
So, when we talk about AWS Lambda, you pay only for the compute time you consume. No charges when your code is not running. This much is clear. We have talked about it. So what it is that you have to only pay for the compute time, how much time it taken to execute your code. You don't have to charge anything if your code is not running.
Okay, got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
All you need to do is supply your code in the form of one or more Lambda functions to AWS Lambda. Okay, so only one thing you need to do, that you have to supply your code in one or more Lambda, means either you need one Lambda for information to store the information, or you need multiple Lambdas, like auto scaling you need, right? So only one thing you have to do, you have to supply your code, and everything AWS Lambda will manage. Clear?
Yes.
What thing you can do? See, now the code should be in these specific languages that AWS Lambda supports.
Okay.
So there are the specific languages that AWS Lambda support currently. If we talk about with the upgradation, they are adding new languages also. But if we talk in general, the basic ones, one is Node.js, another is Java, PowerShell, Hash, 5 Ruby, 6 Python, 7 Go. Okay, in these languages you can provide code to AWS Lambda. Only these languages they support. But now, as the advancement is made in AWS Lambda, you can add multiple more. You need to check as you go for the exam. Okay, I'll show you in the current scenario what all languages they are supporting. And now, what you have to do once you have selected the language and provided the code. Okay, the service, the AWS Lambda, you can say the AWS Lambda can run the code on your behalf. Running process also they will automatically do. You have to just deploy a code, and as soon as you run, everything automatically they will run using the terminal. This
Got it. So, on the call on your behalf. Okay, got it.
because you are not creating any, you are not from the technical background, you are aware of these languages. These are known as programming languages.
Okay.
Now, what programming languages help us? See, try to understand. I'm just giving an overview. See, this is the Amazon AWS console, right? There you see a button called service, right? And as soon as you click on this service, you will get a drop-down list in which multiple services will be provided. Now, to design all these, okay, you have to put some code. So there is a code in any of the language, say in Python, okay, and they will ask you which type of button you want to create. Okay, you have created this button. In this button, which what you want to write? Okay, you want to write the service. As soon as you click on this button, a drop down list should open. Now inside this drop down list, I need more buttons, so I need to do the code. I need to create all these buttons, and these buttons have their specific codes. Okay, so to create a complete website, we require a code which is written in any of the programming language.
Yeah, got it.
Now it is.
I have an idea because I mean I took a class in data science, and I see that they use
You are
like
from data science background.
Yeah, like I thought like IBM, one of the basic certificates that they offer to have an idea. And I have like a friend of mine in Instagram that they work in coding, and they post many things in coding. So I know how the coding looks like.
Yeah, actually, I'm from the data science background. Okay, so I thought you must be very much good in Python. Okay, this is a language that we use. Okay, so IBM I am also IBM certified data scientist, so that's why I was asking the certificate you have got. Okay, so
well, I have a question.
yeah,
Because I mean, data scientists, I mean, I like data science because I like data, but because of the process, I mean, I have to be good in programming. I mean, not good like coding, but good enough to do the job.
actually, data science. Okay, you don't need to be good in programming. You need to be good in statistics.
Yeah.
You should have a good mathematical mind. Okay, and should be good in designing algorithms.
Okay.
Algorithms are just the steps you require to solve any of the problem, right? So there is a problem that you need to make a tea, right? So first,
Uh-huh.
if you want to make a tea, what you will do? You will take a container, right? Then you will put that container on the stove or on the gas, you can say, gas machine,
Uh-huh.
right? Then you
Yes.
add water, all these steps written step by step you want to do to solve a problem like making a tea. This process is known as algorithm, a set of sequential wise steps. So you need to be good in solving these real time cases. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I got it. The fact is that my weakness is like, that I have to create the data in Jupyter, in Python. I mean, I
Actually,
can
you
do it in
need to be
Microsoft
good in
Word.
machine learning.
Yeah. Machine learning.
Machine learning is very much easy. If you learn it, you'll very much easily create a machine learning model.
Okay.
Nothing big deal. Means like it will take you like approximately 15 to 16 days to understand the basic machine learning models like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, regression.
Mm,
So it's not,
okay.
but the main thing is the data you need to understand. That this is my data, which type of machine learning I should put inside it.
Okay.
That is
Got it.
a little bit different.
Okay.
So let's continue with AWS, otherwise we'll get data science only.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah, so I told you about like what you have to do. You have to go inside these programming languages to provide your code, right? Now typically if we talk about the life cycle for an AWS Lambda based So whenever you start a life cycle, like you are creating anything in using AWS Lambda, first of all, you should have a code schedule. The first step. Then after that, you have to deploy the code in the AWS. Lambda. Then they will start monitoring that code. And once they have monitored the code, they will start the troubleshooting process, like any issue the code is having. This is a complete life cycle that AWS Lambda follows. Okay?
If they have an issue, do they fix it?
Sorry?
If in the troubleshooting, if they find an issue or a problem with
They
my
will
code.
solve this issue in troubleshooting.
Oh, okay.
Troubleshooting means they have detected while monitoring the Lambda code or monitoring the AWS Lambda function, they find some problems. Now, in troubleshooting, they will solve these issues.
Okay.
Clear?
Got it. Yes.
Now, this is in exchange for flexibility, which means you cannot log into compute instance or customize the operating system or language now. See, because everything that is automatically done by AWS, so what we cost on that, we cost our flexibility. Now it is not in our hand that what type of computing services we want. It is all being decided by AWS Lambda. So we cannot log into compute instances. We don't know what compute instances they are taking. We can customize our own operating system or language runtime, how much time it will take to run the code, right? So all the authorities, all the management, administration, what type of computing instances they will create, everything is now in the hand of AWS Lambda people. Earlier in EC2, when we were creating an EC2 instance, it was flexible for us to create our own customized instance, to choose our own operating system. Now it is all in the hand of AWS Lambda people. That's why we are saying our flexibility of changing all the things as according to our needs is now being reduced. Getting it?
Okay. Yep.
So if you do want to manage your own compute, you can use EC2 or Elastic Beam Store. Okay, so now if you it's in your hand. If you want to manage your own computing, then you can use these two computing services. One is EC2, you are very much familiar, and another is Elastic Beanstalk. It is another type of computing service which you can use. Is these things clear to you?
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Elastic Beanstalk.
Yeah, it's a type of computing service like EC2 and Lambda. But in EC2 and Elastic Beans, you can choose and manage your own computing services, but in Lambda, you can't.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yep.
So everything like basic things that Lambda revolves around what is Lambda, what things we can do in Lambda is clear, right?
Yeah, it is
I
clear.
advise you again. See, because you are very much new to Lambda, that's why I'm telling you. So what are the AWS Lambda manages? First of all, so it goes with provisioning of the compute services. This is clear that it is provisioning and capacity of computing services, balance between the memory, CPU, network, and all those things will be automatically done by AWS people, AWS
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
Then server and operating system management will also be done by AWS Lambda people. High availability and automatic scaling will also be done, right?
Yep, I like that.
Monitoring, fleet health means everything that is required, the continuous monitoring of the information of the server is done by AWS Lambda. Applying security groups, patches, all the concern of security will be handled by AWS Lambda. You don't have to worry about it. Deploying of the code is the main feature of Lambda. They will automatically deploy your code. Monitoring and logging means log information, cloud watch, and everything will be done using Lambda function itself. Then AWS Lambda runs on your code on high availability, means the best CPU or RAM or storage or security group you require to run your application, right? Particular application or anything, they will provide you. AWS Lambda will execute only when it is needed. Okay, and they will not charge you on the basis of hourly basis, but only when you require to run it. Okay, and they will charge for every request per second. How many requests you have created per second, right?
Okay, got it.
Then AWS Lambda, you have to only pay for the compute time, no charges when it is not running. Clear? You need to supply your code to the Lambda function. Either you can use one Lambda or more than one Lambdas. Then comes AWS supports. What programming languages AWS supports? Node.js, Java, PowerShell, Hash, Ruby, Python, Go. See, they will ask you in your exam what languages AWS Lambda supports in theory part. So be familiar with these words. Okay?
Okay, got it.
So as soon as you have uploaded your code, right? They will run the code. Then what is the typical life cycle of AWS Lambda? You have to authoring of your code. You have to provide your code. Then they will deploy this code. Then monitoring of the code will happen, and then troubleshooting of the code.
Okay.
What is the disadvantage of, you can say, AWS Lambda has? That there we cannot customize our own OS, or we cannot check the maintain the logs of our own compute instance, or we cannot change the language runtime, or you can say compile time. The time it is taking to run the language. And if you want your own service, okay, own compute services, then you can go with EC2 or Elastic Beanstalk.
Perfect.
Everything is
okay. Yes.
Now you have to understand how Lambda works. Okay. So first, you upload your code to Lambda. In one or more Lambda functions. So first step is very much clear to you.
Yep.
Second, you have to do AWS Lambda will then execute the code on your behalf. So they will execute the code after the code is invoked. Lambda automatically take care of provisioning and managing the required server. So this is how a complete Lambda service works in the 3 steps. So first is you have to upload your code either in one or more Lambda functions. Then what AWS Lambda will do, they will execute your code, right? After your code is invoked, means your code is inside the Lambda function. Then Lambda will automatically take care of provisioning, means they will take care of computing, what type of computing services is required, and they will manage the required server. Which server you want, they will automatically manage that. This is clear?
Okay. Yep.
Any doubt you have?
No.
So now the biggest question, that why and how EC2 and Lambda are different from each other. Okay, so AWS Lambda and AWS EC2. So first thing, if we talk about AWS Lambda, okay, it is platform as a service. And when we talk about EC2 instance, it is infrastructure as a service. You must be familiar with these terms.
Yep.
What is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service? So the first basic difference or the biggest difference we can count is platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. Means when we talk about AWS EC2, we have to create an infrastructure. We are creating a building, or you can say we are creating a complete computing unit, right?
Okay.
About Lambda, we already have the infrastructure, just we have to make a platform upon it. Means we have to
Okay.
by our code.
Got it. Okay. I understand the difference now.
Second, it supports only limited languages like writing them again so that you can revise. Node.js, Python, Java, C hash, Ruby, Go, and PowerShell. While we talk about EC2 instance, no environment restrictions, you can run any code or language. So when we basically talk about AWS Lambda function, it supports only limited ones like Node.js, Python, Java, C hash, Ruby, Go, PowerShell. But when we talk about EC2 instance, it has no environment restrictions, means you can run any of your code in any of the coding language. Clear?
Okay, got it.
Third difference that you can understand about Lambda in AWS, what you do, you write your code and push the code into AWS Lambda. Okay, this is the process you follow. And inside this, what you do for the first time. In EC2, you have to choose the OS, right? Which type of OS you want, and install all these softwares, like you want MySQL software or any type of software you require, right? And then push your code in EC2. This is what you follow. So
okay,
talk about AWS Lambda. You just have to write your code and push it to the AWS Lambda. But when we talk about EC2 instance, what you have to do? You have to first, for the first time in EC2, you have to choose the OS, like Windows OS you want, Linux OS you want, which type of OS. Then after that, you want to install the software. What software you want to run? Like you want to run MySQL, we have used. Then you have to push your code inside EC2. Getting it?
okay, got it.
Another difference between AWS Lambda and AWS EC2. You cannot log into compute instance, choose customized OS or language, But here in EC2, you can select variety of OS instance type, what is general instance type you want, provisional instance type you want, what type of network you want, what type of security patches you want, what type of RAM you want, and CPU, etc. Means multiple things you can. So if we check about the difference of the making of this system, what they say that you cannot log, means you can't check the logs of the compute instance, like what compute instance you want. You can't choose your customized OS. No language platform you can select by your own. So everything will be given by AWS Lambda. But here when we talk about EC2, you can select variety of OS, means which type of OS you want, what type of instance type you want, which network gateway or APIs you want to keep, what security patch you want, what RAM you want, what CPU you want. Everything can be done using EC2. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Mhm.
Now, see what happens when we talk about billing. So if you, inside this, if you code took 250 milliseconds to execute, so they will charge you for 300 milliseconds, because see, they count in 100 seconds, multiple of hundreds, right?
Mm.
If your code takes 50 milliseconds to execute, they will charge you for 100 milliseconds. If your code takes for like 190 milliseconds, they will charge you for 200 milliseconds. They will charge on the basis of, in the terms of 100 seconds multiple. Clear? But here when we talk about AWS EC2, pay per second. Either you have to pay for every second you are using, or mainly it is on the basis of hourly. Hourly basis they charge. This is clear to you?
Uh-huh.
Everything making sense?
Yeah, it's the same thing you explained before.
To understand the difference of EC2 and Lambda?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, some important terms used in AWS Lambda. First is functions. Okay. So what are functions? A function is a resource that you can invoke to run your code in AWS Lambda. A function. So first basic thing you need to understand, whatever we do inside the Lambda, first thing what we do, we create a function. We create a Lambda function. Okay.
Okay.
Inside this Lambda function, what we will do, we will import our code and then run our code. So you can say AWS function is a container in which we are putting our or deploying our code so that we can run it.
Got it.
Then a function has that processes request and response between lambda and the function code. Now what they are trying to say is, when we talk about, see, this is AWS Lambda. Okay, the community which is handling the AWS Lambda. This is your code, right? So what Lambda function does, they make a communication channel between your code and AWS Lambda. So you can send some request, means asking that I want your code, you want to deploy your code, and the information that is sent to this code. So the process they are following is requesting for the code, and in response, what the code is giving as an output to AWS Lambda. So they follow a request and response function between Lambda and the function code. Getting it? Hello?
Yes.
You are able to understand?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
See, this
easy.
is AWS Lambda, right? This is your code,
Okay.
and this function we are creating called Lambda function. What it will do, it will create a request and response type of process, so that AWS Lambda can check your code and help you to run that code on AWS Lambda. So this function will help us to do that.
Okay.
Clear?
Uh-huh.
Now, another thing is, second term you need to be familiar is runtime. Now, what is runtime? So, Lambda runtimes allows functions. See, all the language that I am using to explain you the concepts, or I am writing on the board, okay, it is the official language that is used in AWS documents. The person who has created this service, similar concepts I'm using. So if you will use the same language in your papers, they will have no issue. So everything is from the document of AWS. So be very much comfortable with this language. Okay?
Okay.
But just I'm trying to do it in some parts, like dividing in its multiple points and making it a little bit easier for you, so that you grasp the concepts easily. Okay?
Okay, great.
Every word or every language that I'm using is officially verified. Okay?
Got it.
So Lambda runtime allows functions to in different languages to run in the same base.
What do you mean by same base?
Yeah, just explaining you, executing
Okay.
environment. Now what they are saying, that when we talk about Lambda runtime, so we have created a function. Now inside this function we have our code, and we know all the different languages that in which you can run the code. Now they have created a execution environment. Right? Now in this environment we are deploying the code, and they will read what is the syntax of the code, and based on the syntax of the code, they will choose which language is it. So by chance it is Python. So they will make this environment completely of Python environment, and then they will run the code. So this is the same base executing environment. As soon as the code comes in, they will detect the code, which type of code it is, in which language it is written. They will detect automatically, and then in the same base they will run the code using the particular language. Is it clear?
Yep.
Executing environment. Then the runtime sets in between the lambda service and your function code relaying invocation events, context information, responses between the two. So what they're trying to do, see, when we talk about runtime sets, so runtime is between the lambda service and your functional code, the functional code you have provided. Now they will detect which event you want to click. Events means like S3 bucket, you have stored your code, or any of the storage device, they will take RDS, you have stored your code. Okay. Context information means which type of programming language we want. Okay, either they will use C Stash or they will use PowerShell, which type of context information is providing, and the response between the two. Once we have checked the environment event, means we have the data information code with us, then we know which code, which language, platform or environment we have to use, and then the response means now we have to run it, the output in response. These two are the requests and this is the output. So when we talk about runtime, runtime is basically what they are providing you, the platform to run your code.
Okay, got it.
So the time taken by your code to run is the runtime.
Okay, pretty clear.
The third term you need to be familiar is event. What is event? So you can say is a JSON formatted document that contains data for a function to process. See, when we talk about event, it is just a JSON formatted document. JSON is a language in which some code is written that contains data for the function to process. Means how the Lambda function will process all the information will be inside this event. Okay, as I told, now how this event will be triggered. The fourth term you need to understand is event source or trigger. Means an AWS service can be such as AWS SNS or a custom service that triggers your function and execute its logic. Now, what they are trying to say, try to understand. Okay, when we talk about events, now what has to be done is in this event. All the data contains the data. All the data is inside this event format, right? Like how the code will be executed, what is inside the code, what is written in the code, everything is inside this event. Now we want to trigger it. Trigger it means, see, have you seen a gun? Okay, when we trigger, we have the bullets inside the gun. Okay, so as soon as we trigger the gun, then only we will be able to fire the bullet, right? Or if you want something to happen, okay, you have to trigger it. Means after this much of time, like as soon as 12 o'clock in the clock, we have to start this process. So triggering means starting a process. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So when we want, when we have to trigger this, or when we have to start this event. See, you have selected this event as SNS service. Means you want to send a notification to someone. Okay, and this
Okay.
notification, what notification you want to send is written in this JSON formatted file. Okay, like say, hi Ganika. Okay, this is your notification you want to send. Now you are using, what you are using? You are using SNS service to send this notification. But when you want to send this notification, you have to trigger this service. Then only they will know that, okay, now you want to use SNS service and send this notification. Okay.
Okay.
Will do, as soon as you trigger the any of the event. Okay. They will automatically execute whatever it is inside this, or execute its logic, whatever it is written in the event file. So you can say this is an event we have created, right? Inside this event, the SNS file, SNS service we have included, and inside this SNS service we have written some message, say hi. Okay. Now, as soon as you trigger this, as soon as you say, okay, I want to execute this event, so what they will do, they will go to the SNS service, and inside this SNS service, this hi will be written in the JSON format. JSON is a coding language, okay, in which they will be written. Okay, this hi will be written. So as soon as you trigger this SNS, they will send this notification to any email or anything you have applied. They will follow all the steps that are done in SNS. But what is the main important thing? You have to trigger it. You have to select at what time you want to trigger it. Say sometimes what happens, that you have written some code. Okay, inside that code you have sent as soon as as soon as you type 1, trigger this event number 1. Okay, so as soon as you write the 1 in the code, this event will be triggered. Getting it? For an easy purpose, if we say that have you driven a car? Ever tried a car? Right? Inside a car, what happens? As soon as we insert the key and try to start the engine, okay, what we are doing, we are triggering the engine. So what information this engine has, as soon as key will be applied?
Got it.
Okay. you have to trigger the engine. You have to start the engine. Means you have to start the process of engine. Okay, similar way, as soon as you want to trigger an event, you can easily trigger an event and they will follow all the processes, all the function code or any context information that is inside the event, they will automatically start it. Getting it?
Okay, got it.
These concepts are clear?
Something like that, not so clear, but I'm trying. Like
I'll
trigger.
revise it again for you. Just wait, okay? I'll revise everything again.
Is the word trigger? I don't.
Sorry?
It's like how I trigger Lambda. I mean trigger.
That I will show you in practical.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, I can't show you right now how this theoretically. Just I can give you the some concepts, then whenever we'll do practical, no, and I'll trigger. So you know what is happening behind. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Process of triggering, I can't show you. Okay. Another term is downstream resource. You need to understand in Lambda function. Okay. And AWS service such as DynamoDB, tables you can say, or S3 bucket, that your Lambda function calls once it is triggered. So as soon as you trigger any of the Lambda function, and inside this Lambda function, you have provided inside the event, if you provided DynamoDB table, okay, or you have provided S3 bucket. So what happens, as soon as there is something inside the S3 bucket comes in, your Lambda will start triggering. So Lambda is continuously watching your S3 bucket, that as soon as something comes in S3 bucket, I will start my event processing. Okay. Similarly, when we talk about DynamoDB, as soon as a table is created in DynamoDB, and we have chosen this as an event for our Lambda function. Okay. So what Lambda function is doing? It is continuously monitoring this DynamoDB table. As soon as the data comes in DynamoDB table, this event will start triggering, and everything that is inside this DynamoDB will get executed.
Okay, got it.
Getting it?
Uh-huh.
Now another thing is, concurrence. Okay, let me just add a page. Okay, I'll try to explain this here. Okay, concurrence. Okay, in concurrency, what happens? Number of requests that you are making. Requests that your function is serving in any given time. So, in any of the given time, like for a second, you process 100 requests. So what will be the concurrency of your function? Your concurrency of the function will be 100 per second. So 100 requests if you're making at a particular time, at a particular second, that will be the concurrency of your lambda function. Getting it?
Oh, okay. I heard something about like, okay, so that's the number, like, it's 100 requests per second. That's the number of requests per second, right?
Yeah.
Or it can be more. It can be more.
Yeah, it can be till 1,000 requests per second.
Okay. What's the maximum? 1,000?
Yeah, maximum is 1,000.
Oh, okay.
This part is clear?
Yeah.
You are able to understand what I'm see, let me just tell you once more again so that there is no confusion between AWS terms, important AWS terms. See, these are very much important because you will have to set these information. So what is lambda function? First of all, that a function is a resource that you can invoke to run the code. So whenever you want to run a code, you have to create a lambda function inside which you can upload your code. Okay. A function has a code that process request and response between the lambda and the function code. Okay. So
Okay.
whenever you want to communicate between the AWS lambda and the code, you will use a function which will work as a request and response between the lambda and the function code. Clear?
Okay, got it. Yeah, pretty clear.
Yeah. Another thing, runtime. So lambda runtime allows functions in different languages to run in the same base executing environment. Means any code you put inside the function, okay, they will detect type of program it is and they will execute in the same base executing environment. The runtime sits in between the Lambda service and your function code, relaying invocation of events, context information, and response between the two. Means as soon as you put your code inside the environment, okay, what they will do, they will start the event. Means which event you have invoked. It can be S3, it will be DynamoDB, which event you want to take the data from. Okay, you have to store the data somewhere. No, either you will do it in S3 bucket, either you will do in any EFS files or anything. Okay, then they will context information. What information this code is providing to you that you have invoked, and then the response between the two means the response between the lambda function and the response between the code you have to deal with. Okay.
So so the best scenario that I can use by Lambda is if I have like a very large amount of requests. Like if I want to use Lambda, I have to make sure that I have like 100 requests per second. Like I have like a bunch of requests per second.
No, 100 is not the exact number. I tell you. Okay.
Oh, 1,000.
1,000 is the last.
I have to have like a lot of data to process in order to use Lambda.
No. You can take one request also. Till you can take 1,000 requests per second. Either you can make one request per second is allowed, but maximum only 1,000. This is maximum, and this is minimum.
Yeah, I wanna. Okay.
So if you have small data, also you can execute it in Lambda.
It's like something like for example, okay. So I don't want to deal with the infrastructure of the EC2. I want to use Lambda instead. So I use Lambda instead. And this is why I might use Lambda because it's workable. I mean, I don't have to build an structure like VPC security groups, EC2 IP address, like auto scaling. It will be easier for me to use Lambda and then connect Lambda to other services.
Yes, you're getting it? The difference I told you. If you want the benefits of EC2, you go with EC2. If you want benefits of Lambda, go with Lambda. Depending on your application or your knowledge you want to apply on.
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
Everything clear?
Yeah, everything is clear.
Okay, then tomorrow we'll continue with the next part of Lambda.
Okay, perfect. That will be the practical or the theoretical part?
Yeah, it will be a little bit theoretical part tomorrow also.
Okay.
Then we have a practical session.
Got it.
See, what I'm trying to tell you is one thing. See, actually my practicals are going on. So you can take, like today is 17th, okay, in my time zone, and 17th is Wednesday. Okay, so 18th, 19th, is it Thursday, Friday? Okay, till Friday I will not be able to take 3 hours of classes. It will be 2 hours, same time, 8 to 10. Okay.
Okay.
Sunday onwards, we can have a class of 3 hours. Or on Sunday, we can do of 6 hours if you don't have issues. 3 hours in morning and 3 hours in the night. Like
okay.
7 p.m. to 10 p.m. here, and here also 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Whatever time suits you. Just tell me on Sunday.
Okay, I will tell you before
Because
Friday.
on Sunday, I'm free in the morning session. I can give you the lectures from 7 to 10, or you can have a session at 2 also. 2 to 4, 2 to 5 you can take. So 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. also I'm available. And in the evening, the same time, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you're comfortable with the morning schedule also, you can contact me from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the session, or 2 p.m. This will be afternoon. 2 p.m.
Okay,
to 10 p.m.
Okay, let me see. Let me take a picture of that.
You just let me know, okay,
Okay.
on Friday, that what time suits you, okay?
Yeah, I will let you know. Okay.
Okay, great. So let's meet tomorrow. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night. Oh, sorry.
Bye.
Happy day for you. Bye-bye.